Hello everyone, welcome to Java Learners. In this video, we are going to learn what is add component annotation and how it can be used. The add component is a string annotation that is used on classes. It indicates that the annotated class is a Spring managed component, and in Spring framework, Spring managed component is a class that is instantiated, configured, and managed by Spring container. So in the instantiation phase, the object of the class is created. In the configuration phase, the dependencies are injected and the properties are also injected from the application's properties file. In the management phase, the initialization and destruction tasks are executed. In the initialization tasks, like the connections can be created, and in the destruction, the finalization work is done before destroying the bean, like closing the connection. The Spring container is responsible for managing the life cycle of the components, and it includes creation, dependency injection, initialization, and destruction of the beans. It's a generic stereotype annotation. A generic stereotype annotation can be applied to service and repository classes and other components as well, but the specialized forms of the component are already present for service and repositories, and that are at service and at repository. The at component annotation cannot be used on interfaces. Let's try to understand what happens when Spring application starts. In the first step, Spring container loads the bean definition from the XML configuration and through component scanning. In the second step, it instantiates the beans. In the third step, the dependencies are injected into beans and the properties using add value are also injected into beans from the configuration files. After injecting the dependencies into beans, the Spring container calls initialization methods, and those initialization methods are used to perform some initialization task like creating a connection. And these initialization methods are annotated with at post construct annotation. In the fifth step, beans are ready for use and can be retrieved from the application context. In the last step, when application context is closed, the container calls the destruction methods, and these destruction methods are used to perform the finalization before destroying the beans, and these methods are annotated with at pre-destroy annotation. To understand how to use at component annotation, I am going to take an example from the notification service. I have one interface named notification service, and this interface has one implementation named email notification service. Email notification service class has a single method that is used to send the notifications to the users. I have created a Spring Boot project and the Spring Boot version is 3.4.1. In this project, I have added only one dependency, and that dependency is Spring Boot Starter. I have created one interface named notification service, and this interface has one method. I have created a class named email notification service, and this class implements notification service interface. And in this class, I have also defined the send notification method. I have created one no argument constructor in this class, and this no argument constructor would be invoked when the bean would be created. Now I'm going to execute this application. Here I don't see any message for bean creation. Now I'm going to open the email notification service class, and I'm going to apply the add component annotation on this class. Now again I'm going to execute. Here we can see that the no argument constructor is invoked and the message email notification service bean is created has been printed. Now I'm going to open the application.properties file, and in this application.properties file I have added one property named app.value, and in the email notification service I'm going to create one field named value. I have created a field named value and I have also created a setter to set the value for the value field. Now I am going to inject the property from the application.properties file. So for that I am going to use at value annotation. I am also going to add a println statement in this set value method so that when the property is injected, the message would be displayed on the screen. Now again I am going to execute the application. Here we can see that the default constructor is invoked. I mean no argument constructor is invoked and then the property is injected. I am going to define a method named init in email notification service, and this init method would be invoked after the dependencies are injected. The init method is annotated with at post construct annotation. Now I am going to execute the code again. Here we can see first no argument constructor is invoked, then the property is injected, and then the initialization task is executed. Now I am going to retrieve the email notification bean from the application context. Here we can see that we have the application context which is returned by the run method of the Spring application. And then from the context we are retrieving the notification service bean, and after retrieving the notification service bean we are invoking the send notification method. Let me execute the code and see what happens. Here we can see the no argument constructor is invoked, then the property is injected, and then initialization task is done. After that the send notification method is invoked and the output can be seen here. So the notification is sent to the user which we have passed, and this is email subject and this is email body. Now I am going to add one more method named destroy in email notification service, and this destroy method would be used to perform the finalization task before destroying the bean. Here I have added the destroy method, and this destroy method is annotated with at pre-destroy annotation. Now I am going to execute the code again. Here we can see that no argument constructor is invoked, and then property is injected, and then initialization task is completed, and then send notification method is invoked, and at the end we can see that the destroy method is invoked and it is displaying the message that destruction task is completed. That's it for this video, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.